so glad to have you here today listening to the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast. I am Jesika Miller, the mind trainer and Phobia Eliminator and founder of spiritualcocaine.com. Spiritual Cocaine was started as a resource to connect you with gifted practitioners that could guide you to reaching your highest self, heal the deepest parts of you that need healing, and remove any obstacles standing in your way of your best possible life. Join us weekly for high-quality guests and invaluable information that will change your life. SpiritualCocaine.com serves as a directory of practitioners, healers, coaches, and light workers sharing their gifts with you to take you to the highest levels of your being by healing your mind, body, and spirit, and in turn accessing your inner high. Our practitioners, healers, coaches, and light workers offer one-on-one session, group classes, courses, and events throughout the world. You can log on and look through a variety of practitioners, or if you are a practitioner yourself, you can create a profile for others to get to know you and use your services. Join the movement, find your guide, and get high on spiritual cocaine. Hello, and welcome to the Spiritual Cocaine Podcast, where we teach you to heal those parts of yourself that hold you back from living your best life. Spiritual Cocaine is an unlimited resource to show you the infinite ways to reach limitless happiness and abundance using the quantum field. I am your host, Jesika, the mind trainer, and today we have Eden Sustin. Usually I like to tell people a little bit about like what your title is and what you do, but I'd really like you to label yourself because you're very unique. Yes, you have skills in certain areas, but you're very unique. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what your title is, what you call yourself?
Okay. So, what I do for work is that I'm a medium.
I tell people you're a medium, but I'm not sure if that's the word you want to use. Okay, good. So
yeah. The medium, and the more technical term is physical medium, because sometimes it comes through my body in a physical form. So not in the way that people think, though. I don't get taken over. It's not like the movie Ghost. It's not that. I'm not Whoopi Goldberg. It's in the form of mainly in the form of writing. So I'm holding the pen. Spirit does the writing for me. So it's not my handwriting. So they're physically.
Oh, does your handwriting actually change?
Yeah, it's not mine. Yes, it's very messy too.
Ooh.
Yes.
Have you ever compared the writing to the person doing the reading? Like you did a reading for my dad. Like, would I look at that and say like, oh, that's my dad's writing?
No. I get that question a lot. So the writing always looks the same.
Oh,
so it's just
not yours.
Yeah. It just comes out like messy and hard to read even sometimes. But it's something I've been doing for many years, so I'm used to it. But most people cannot read it afterwards. If they ask me for notes, I don't tend to give, because I can't read them.
That's so interesting. Can you go back and reread it, or it's like a one and done?
Yeah, really, I can't. Most of the time, sometimes things get a little. Yeah, it gets a little confusing. Yeah. I try. I just make sure that everybody knows in advance. This is how it just comes out, and it's kind of like the first time you hear it. Pay attention, because I can't go back and reread. But if we need clarity, we'll ask for more information, as you've experienced. But yeah. Yes. And so, do you want me to explain a little bit more about my work, what I do to help people?
I would love to, and then I'll give my little twist on what parts I think all of it is amazing, but what specifically I think is really cool.
Okay. Well, in general, people reach out to me because they lost a loved one. That's probably 90% of the time that's the case, and they're hoping to hear from them. I'm able to tune in and receive messages from the deceased. When they come through, we really cannot control what happens, so it's just really important for people to come in very open and without any expectations, but they get so much out of it, so much even more than they thought they would. And it turns into something very healing. And it's all about healing. It's all about going deeper to the core of whatever issues they had from childhood and on up. And it's better than therapy, most people say.
Definitely. Definitely. So, I've known about a lot of mediums and I'm acquaintances with a lot of mediums. It had never crossed my mind or my awareness of a healing medium. And that's actually, in my opinion, what you are for me. You may show up for different people, different things, but for me, you've been a healing medium.
Yeah.
And so that was an incredible experience. Can you talk more about that? Because people, when they think of a medium, they think of like, oh, I just want to connect with this person and I want to hear what they have to say about this. So first of all, you were very clear in the beginning, you can't control who comes through. You can set an intention for who you want to come through, but you can't say like, oh, I want to talk to my mom today. Like, mom's going to show up. Whoever's going to show up is going to show up.
Right. We don't have control either over it.
And you're able to tell us who shows up, right?
Yeah, I never want to guarantee that for people, but yes, for the most part, they will come through in some way to identify themselves. So they may give a name, they may give an initial, or they may say something that only you would know that makes you think of that person. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know. It'll be pretty much a guarantee that at that point, that's who it is. And
people, when I hear about like psychic medium is like, oh, let me connect with my dead relative so I can I miss them or just have some kind of connection. And I definitely got that from you. But I was really surprised at the healing aspect. That was totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And the biggest bonus of all, because the transformation after is like mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people for their first time, they don't realize. I try so hard to tell people in advance. I will make sure that beforehand they have all the details, knowing what to expect, how to prepare. But when we get into it, they're like, well, this is not, I couldn't have even thought that something like this would happen. Yeah. Most of the time it surprises people. But yeah, we go very deep, and that's why I say better than therapy, not to put anyone down or judge, but we go quickly we get to the core of what's really going on with this person, and most of the time they don't even realize that that's happening until we show them the spirit. I say we, meaning spirit and myself, and they get to go deeper to a level that I think is more unconscious, that they don't have an awareness about, and it gives them a better perspective of what is going on in their present life, and everything makes sense after that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they do get to hear it from the loved ones who come through. Yeah, so it's kind of like they get both.
I also think with all the confirmations of what you give of information, it's like people accept it as truth. You know, if you're out here in this regular human world and people give you advice and stuff, you're kind of like, maybe, or
Yeah.
But then when you hear it from the other side and you know the other side, like you've had a confirmation that really is the person on the other side, and they're saying, well, you really need to stop doing this or stop participating in this, or well, in my case, be mindful how I speak to my children. I really had to pause and listen to that.
Yeah. It's good though that you were open to hearing that, not defensive, because it's hard. They do want to tell people how to parent their children. And there's a fine line there, because I don't want to act like I know better, or I'm not going to come through in a way of judging people, but they have to understand that this is all love. Everything that comes through is for the purpose of healing, and so whatever it is will benefit them as long as they're open to it. And they will get as much out of it as you did if they have that mindset, that being open and accepting.
Yeah. And about how long are the sessions?
Average would be probably 90 minutes, but we can go up to 2 hours.
Up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you book an hour and then people go more, or? How does
Yeah,
that work?
I'll check in when the hour is up. At that point, they can decide if they want to stop or continue on. It's hard to stop after just an hour. There's so much detail that comes in, and we'll probably be in the middle of something really great at that point. So I just check in, and then most of the time, people will want to keep going.
Yeah, I found like in my first appointment, like probably the first, I think like 45 minutes of it was doing some inner child work. So.
Yeah, and that's something I have to make sure people know what they're getting into, because that's good work. It's life changing, but
literally life changing and amazing.
Yeah. So I'm not that kind of medium that you're going to come to and just hear from your loved ones to say, hi, I'm glad you made my apple pie recipe last night. I was there with you when you were making it. It's
that necklace we lost is under the carpet in the living room.
Yeah. This is real work.
Yeah. It's really, I didn't expect that. And that's really like the purpose of the podcast and all the spiritual cocaine is for people to get to know you. It's when you label yourself like medium or healer or sound healer or this or that, everybody has their own gifts that they bring to the table with their modality. And you are an incredible healer. In my experience, you're an incredible inner child healer.
Yeah.
That was so unexpected to me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I first started doing this, I didn't plan it. I didn't plan on doing that. Yeah. I did a lot of my own inner child healing years ago, which I think we all have to continue doing, so it never ends. But it's something that I got connected to on purpose, I believe, and so that I could help people with that in that area. So, and it's natural. It just kind of comes up naturally. I don't plan it. Each session is different, but it does like happen majority of the time where people need that kind of work.
And how did you become a medium? Were you born with these gifts? Did you work on these gifts? How did this happen?
Okay, so I
think somebody with your skill level, people are like, you know.
Yeah, it's not something in the way I do it, but it is something I was born with. My grandmother did this. She was a medium, and I watched her do her work a lot. She worked with the FBI and the LAPD, and that was very dark. And it was a life that I did not want. And then, can I tell you what happened? How I started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on the edge of my seat. When did you know? I told you I get the itches. When did you know you were intuitive, like to this level?
Okay, so to this level, probably in my 30s. So I'm 51 now. So it's been quite a while. Prior to that, so I'll tell you, when I was 17 years old. So all my life, it was around me. My parents didn't really nurture, they thought something was wrong with me in my childhood, because I would wake up screaming all the time, and I didn't put it together that I was getting contacted by spirit. And looking back, I know exactly what it was, but at the time, everybody thought she's crazy. So it caused a lot of anxiety and fear for me. And even though my grandmother did it, it was never correlated with that. And
your mom's mom?
Yeah. So then I was 17 years old, and I thought, you know what, I want to try this. And so I did, and I got scared. Because
how do you?
So I picked up the pen, and
Was your grandma did it through the pen as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a rare, what they call it is automatic writing is a rare phenomenon. So most mediumship mediums, their abilities are different. Most of them.
Yeah, I've been asking different people how their abilities are. Like,
yeah,
I'm claircognizant.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did some Akashic work with Helen Vonderheide, and so I was asking her she was saying when she started she was claircognizant, but as she started to do Akashic work, she's become clairvoyant and clairaudient.
Yeah,
she gets all of them, whereas initially she didn't start out that way.
Yes, I have the 4 clairs. So clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairesentient, and why can't I think of the last one?
And recently, I just had a conversation with someone who's psychic, and I put that in quotes because who deals a lot with like spirits and the dead. And so she has a whole interesting story that I'll tell you about. But I was asking her, "Oh, how do you get your info?" And she smells. She's there. And I said, "Ooh, are you traveling timelines?"
Oh,
because she gets the full experience as if she's there.
Yeah. So that happened to me, but I chose to set a boundary with it.
Yeah,
because it scared me. Yeah. Yeah. My situation with
dead people is a whole other...
It wasn't like so much like the dead people. It was the situation that happened. It was, I'll make a long story short. There was a cop killer going around. It was like 5 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. And they were looking for him. And I saw it on the news, and I went to sleep. I fell asleep to what they said on the news. They're putting out a reward for anyone who has information leading to his arrest. And fell asleep. Ended up, the people he had already killed came to me in my dream. And I don't call it a dream really. It was, I was out of body experience. And they took me to different places and they showed me where he was. Mm-hmm. And he was hiding. And I, the next day, spoke to a cop and a detective, told him what I saw in the dream. That same day, that's where they found him.
Is that what your grandma used to do? Stuff like that?
Yeah, similar. And so I was turned off of it just because of her, but now I had my own experience with moving in someone else's situation. And I said, from now on, I don't ever want to do this again. I only want to base everything like that's love and healing. And it's never happened after that. So, yeah. But okay, I'll tell you the happy story. How I got started, it's just that I was kind of playing with it on my own after I tried it at 17 and I got scared, so I threw the pen across the room. Then later in life, 20s.
You do like an invocation, like.
Don't need to. I should, and I usually do. When I work with a client, I do that.
How do you know when you're not like going to pay the bills that it's like, I'm here?
That happens all the time.
Really? Even when you're writing a note, like writing your grocery list or your to-do list, they'll come through?
Yeah, but I have control over it. So
it's not a good time.
Me. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love it.
I'm asked to have a normal life. So they are respecting that.
That's nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I ended up trying it for a while on my own, probably a good 10 years. I was just playing with it, and I let only a few people know. And then the day came around, I don't know, I was in my mid-30s. My sister called me, who lived in Vegas, and I live in LA. And so she said I have a new neighbor who's depressed to the point where she's bedridden, and her mother just passed away. And she wanted to know if you could do a reading for her. And I've never done that before at that point. I'd never done it for anyone. I laughed at her. I'm like, what do you think I'm going to be able to do? That's ridiculous. Well, she convinced me. She didn't tell me anything about the woman. I didn't even know her name. I hung up the phone and I just started writing for about an hour, came back and called her, and the woman was there. She was there with her at that point. And I just read her everything that I got, and every single thing was accurate. And the one thing that was very special about that was that her mom came through and she said she had taken her own life. And the woman, the daughter, wanted to, she was so depressed, thinking it was her fault. She had a lot of guilt, thinking that my mom took her life because I was a bad daughter, and she couldn't get over it. So the mom came through and said, you did not, you didn't do anything wrong. I took my life for a completely different reason. I was sexually abused when I was a child, and I never told anyone except for your father. And I could never get over it. And that's why I just couldn't live with it. And that's what happened. And so she said, talk to Dad and he will confirm this for you. So she did. She went and called him and he confirmed the story that is a fact. Right. So that helped her just by knowing that she was able to move on with her life and let go of the guilt.
I love that.
Yeah. So because of that, I hung up the phone and I thought, okay, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. This is my calling. I could really help people. So I started doing it. And that was 13 years ago.
And when did you transition into like doing the healing work? Was that right away or?
Yeah. Are you referring to inner child healing and
did you have that at some point, or did that just come as a part of the?
It just came.
Yeah. They wanted you to do. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just for you. I'm sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, and this is good for everyone to know too for themselves, it's just like, when you are open to the guidance or to the signs and I think of the word now, synchronicities. When you're open to things like that, then you will always be on the right path. So I was just like kind of going in blindly and I was like, okay, bring it on. And I didn't try to control it and it just came.
Do you ever get information like Dolores Cannon-esque information? And by that, I mean, she gets information about the world and things going on through people?
Yes, I do.
And is that something that you get through your sessions with people, or just if you sat down and write, and you set an intention, would you get some information?
So yeah, when I write by myself, I don't set an intention. I just kind of put it out there. I'm open to whatever I'm meant to hear, whatever's in my eye is good to hear today. And that's when I get the information, because not everybody is at that place where they are able to comprehend this kind of thing. But when I do have clients that are at that place, then it does sometimes come through with them. And then we get to have like a conversation about that. Mm-hmm. But it's not normal for it to happen during a session.
Mm-hmm. But you do that on your own, like for your own knowledge about like what's going on, like world events and consciousness and where the world is going to and where we're at and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if I'm going to piss someone off right now, but I am not into politics, world events. I don't watch the news purposely because of what I expressed to you before about what happened when I watched the news. And so I don't have a lot of knowledge around that, but I do get some. But mostly it's about ascension, the metaphysical things. And that reminds me of Dolores Cannon.
Right. But there's also right now, like, there's a lot of mediums who are getting info with the ascension is also the flushing out of the bad and the good, which does fall into the politics arena in the general scope of the current battle between good and evil. But that's a whole other.
Yeah, I think mine is more on a personal level that I want people to do for themselves personally and not focus so much on the outer world.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. What else was I going to ask you? I'm not sure. I just think this is incredible work that you do. I love what you do and the healing that you've provided and interesting in the first time that we spoke. I knew about you for a long time and I was like, oh, okay. And then one day it was like this inner, like, gotta talk to Eden.
You feel pulled.
And I was like, okay, like,
yeah.
Okay. And I called you up and I made an appointment and you had some information about my dad.
Right.
My grandparents came through.
Yeah.
You had some information about my dad and which was quite vital to know because he did end up passing away, about two months after.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple months after. So it was perfect timing that you felt that pull, because I think it was all divine timing that you.
Because I was like, I don't know anybody who's dead. Like, I mean, I have some relatives that died, but I don't really have anybody close to me. And I know that the people that have gone to you that think you're amazing, like, had like, important people around them pass away. And I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe my grandparents want to say hi, or somebody wants to say hi to me. And it was just information about my dad to, tie up those loose ends and clear up some things, because apparently they knew that his time was coming and wanted me to make sure that, everything was settled in. And then since he has passed, we've spent some time talking to him, and that's been really super, super cool. It's been super healing. And being, that he is my dad and knows me well. He's been guiding you to help me do the things that I need to do to heal in my life, including things he contributed to.
Right.
So that's super. It's super cool. And it's been really
something you couldn't have gotten when he was here.
Yeah,
and that's
sure. They're not the same person when they cross over. They're different.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody different, and it was funny because I remember in our session before our last one that he talked about the cologne, and you were like, wait, don't you think that's a big deal? And I was like, no, I already believe what you say. Like, I didn't need any more. I had so much confirmation about everything that was coming through that I knew everything you were saying was. But it was crazy. I'd bought his cologne when he passed away to have as a keepsake, and he brought that up, and I've shared that with some people. They're like, I can't even tell you how many people I've given them your number. Like,
thank you.
Because they're like surprised at the things that come through. I think, I was blessed with being able to connect with you prior, so I was able to, take care of things, but not everybody has that opportunity. And I think that working with you is there. It's dual. There's two things. First of all, they can heal that relationship with that person,
mm-hmm.
and that they can also be guided to heal within themselves what they need to heal, so they can, live the best life that's possible for them. So
right.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you so much. So you spoke a little bit about your one-on-one. What other offerings do you have? I mean, I know, and I think they're all amazing. Just, and you also have this major podcast. So tell us about all the other things.
Okay. So I have a business with Missy Fowler, who you might have had on your show too.
I did. I met you can see. Yes, Missy.
Yes, she another amazing healer. So the two of us have a business.
Different.
Very different. Yes.
Different. There's no one healer for everybody. Missy's covered different things. You've covered different things. They're not the same thing. And if you're drawn to work with someone, there's like no competition here about like they're fixing different things within you. Different people have access to different things. I think it's important for people to know that.
Yeah. So sometimes we come together and we have a business called Soul Living with one L. And we do workshops, and we also do 2-on-1 sessions. So the two of us come together and work with people. I do my channeling in the sessions, and she does what she does, which you experienced that as well. So we're doing that, and you can all look at Instagram or Facebook and just look up.
So what would someone come to the dual session for?
Oh, okay. Let's do that. They will, because they need healing. I mean, it's just all healing, but some people
just different
because some people have not experienced what I do. Like you, well, no, not you, because you had a session with me, but some people they only know what she does, and they know that they love what she does, and they were always curious about mediumship, so they wanted to, have an experience with that. But it's all just bottom line. It's healing, and it could be anything from grief or inner child healing, trauma, anything like that. We can cover it. We had someone yesterday who needed help with healing her issues around not being good enough and mom issues. And then it turned into something completely different, but we just get guided. So it's always being, without coming in without any kind of a plan, and just we tune into their higher self, and they will just kind of tell us what exactly this person needs. And we follow that direction that we're being led to. And amazing things happen. We have breakthroughs all the time.
Well, what was funny in our session was you said, I think it was Joe, and you were like, Joe. You said a name. I don't remember. Was it Joe or something like that?
Yeah.
You said like, Joe's here or something like that. And I was like, Joe. And you were like, do you know a Joe? And I was like, Joe. And Missy goes, oh, he's here for me. Joe, come back later. This is not your time. This is Jessica's time.
That tends to happen.
That was funny. Yeah. That was pretty funny. But Joe did have a message for me, which was, I don't even know if that was his name, but he did have a message. He did have a purpose.
Yeah.
But that was funny as well. And then what about the courses that you do together? Can you?
Right. So the workshops, first we were doing it, we have Zoom workshops, and we also have in person, just depending on, the times that we're in. Sometimes more people like Zoom because of the COVID stuff, but
right.
Hopefully we're coming around to the other side of that. But they are all about working with the person's higher self and trying to have them learn about aligning with their true self, and which is their soul, their inner truth, their voice. And then when if they have anything that comes up that needs to be healed, we teach them the tools on how to heal that. And then they're able to then go into a more open space where they're able to tune into whatever their gifts and abilities are. Most people that come to us are starting out knowing that they have some sort of abilities, but they don't know how to tune into them and use them. So we teach people, we guide people on that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And how many sessions are those? What does the structure of that program look like?
So again, we change it up. So the first time,
what does it look like today?
The first time we did it, we had 4 different sessions, and each one was about 90 minutes. This next time, the last time we did it, it was all one day for 6 hours. So it just really depends on our schedules, what we can do. Yeah.
That's amazing. And then also, Little Birdie told me about an incredible podcast that you have.
Okay. Yeah. So the podcast is called Talk Purpose and Truth, and it's Talk Purpose and Truth. Yes.
Purpose and Truth. Okay.
Yes. So it's just like it sounds. We have, most of the time we'll have a guest on who we want to have share their stories about any experiences, like a human experience that they've been through that other people can relate to. It's a lot about mental health awareness and, removing the stigma around mental health. And we have a lot of celebrities on the show because we like that people can relate to them. And when they say they have an issue, they went through something, they're human still, then other people will feel better about themselves, about their lives, and they learn from it. So we have all kinds of healers on as well, people who are, we focus on addiction, focus on, like I said, healing, and just, we keep more and more people just keep showing up who want to be on. So it's been about 3 years, and we're loving it. So I do it with Kim Summers, who is someone that I met in high school, but she is also a life coach. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah. And intuitive. I should say that too. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, being intuitive helps, That's definitely something that has shifted for me working with the both of you, which is amazing. I just know things now. So
Yeah. So is it your work that you've done with us? Is that helping you get more aware and
Well,
your own?
I mean, it's been progressive with Missy. My ability in with my clients to know the answer quicker, which means less sessions, which means less time, which means less sifting through the conscious BS.
Yeah.
People kind of say, like, the excuses and the things. It's like they can talk, and my mind hears one word, and it's like, oh, that's it.
Right.
It's shifted more into, like, now I know. And
Yeah.
I'll let them talk and see if they'll kind of lead me into what I already know and then confirm. Now I just know. I don't even really need to say anything. They could probably say 2 words and I just know. We worked together, was it last week?
Oh, with Missy and I.
Yes.
I think it was like a week ago.
And I didn't put you on that thread, but I worked with somebody that Missy also does some work with, and I mean, I could see what the person saw. Like, the client I was working with, I could see what they saw.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We were doing some inner child, and we were doing through some work.
Oh, good.
I was asking them to describe what they saw, but I could see it.
Yeah, you were given that vision. Yeah.
That was next level. That was next level for me. And then I was like, well, what do you want to do next? But I already knew what they want to do. And they told me what they wanted to do, but I already knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So between last week and this week is like...
Yeah, that's new for you, but it's going to keep coming up for you.
I know.
Keep happening. I love that.
So there's levels to this game. There's levels to this game. You offer a myriad of things to whoever, and I definitely recommend that if they feel called to you, there's definitely a reason, and you're incredible, and I'm very blessed to have become acquainted with you, and I think you're
Thank you. I feel the same.
Thank you for everything that you've done for me.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I love working with you. You're just, like you said, you get to the answers quickly, and
it's like that now. It's so cool.
Fast.
It's like people don't have to suffer. That's my thing, is I don't want anybody around me to suffer. I'm in this game to help people.
Yeah.
I really want
to. You made me think of something what you brought up earlier is that, when I work with someone, they sometimes ask me afterwards, after the session's over, okay, when do you want me to come back? And I always tell people my standard answer is, this is going to be up to you and whatever feels right for you. I'm not like a therapist who will tell you have to come once a week. I do have some people who do that only because it's what they are called to do.
Sometimes when you're working with someone, you're working on a project, it's weekly or every couple of weeks. It depends on where you're at.
Right.
I usually get, when I work with people, for some reason I get a number. That's why I don't post like numbers of sessions or this or that. I can already tell by talking to someone, like, this is going to take 1, this is going to take 5, this is going to take over a period of time where you're going to step in periodically. I like to talk people, and for some reason I've never been wrong in that, and then let them, because I think the true healing is when you make it about money, it becomes about money. Like when you say, like, oh, I need this person to come back every week.
Right.
Line my pockets. A lot of people do that. My initial training was in NLP, and Dr. Bandler's belief system is that you give the people the tools to heal. And that's even in the course that I teach, is I teach people, I give them the tools. Now, whether or not they choose to apply them, they know they have access to them. So at least when they come back and they work with me, we say, hey, we did this. Do you remember this? This is the tool. Or they'll text me in between sessions, and I'm not saying, oh, you have to book another session. I'll say, hey, you know how to change the voice in your head. Do you remember? This is the tool. Now that this issue is coming up, you've been giving the tool. This is the time to use the tool. Try it yourself first. If you need help, I'm here. And we can set aside a time. But it's really to give people the tools to heal, not to make people depend on you. Yes.
I want people to depend on me, and I want them to know that they're capable of healing themselves. Unless, of course, someone is completely unstable, I wouldn't work with them anyways. But
when I didn't feel with Missy, she had to she had to do a lot of the work for me. But she said from the outset, the goal is for you to do this yourself in the beginning.
Right.
When
Eventually
you need some assistance, I'm going to help you, but it's never to become like a codependency where you're like reliant on that person.
Yes. And something else I thought of a good point which applies to all of us too, is that healers don't have all the answers. We need our own healers. So like you're talking about, you work with your own clients, but you work with us personally for your own personal needs, and vice versa. So we help each other.
And I also think that the access that we get to other people is not always the clear access that we get for ourselves, because we're working through our filters for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we're able to see things with clarity for other people, and maybe not so much clarity for ourselves, which is why we have to, go to people to point that out, like how you talk to your kids. Come full circle on that comment.
Oh, okay.
Right? So let us know, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you? Through your website, through your Instagram, email, text? How do you prefer people to reach out to you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I am Eden HS, so EDEN, letter H, and the letter S, like Sam. And that you can go to my homepage and you can see everything at the top of the page. And through the tree.
I can message you there.
Linktree. All my links are going to be right there. Oh. So that's the best way to do it. But I also have a website. It's just my first and last name. So EdenSustin.com. EdenSustin.com. Yeah. And then you'll find also, I have a site, talkpurposeandtruth.com. And every episode is on there. And we have over 100 episodes.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. About how often do you put out an episode?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. And thank you for being on the Spiritual Cocaine podcast, where we teach you to heal those parts of yourself that hold you back from living your best life. I'm Jesika Miller. We had psychic healer medium Eden Sustin here today, who we love and we think is incredible, and can't wait to have her come back and tell us more exciting stories of how she's helped heal people. And we look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me, Jesika the Mind Trainer and Phobia Eliminator, here on the Spiritual Cocaine podcast. If you loved what you heard today, please be sure to leave us a positive review on this podcast so that it can continue to provide you with the best resources available in your ascension journey. Most of the episodes can be watched on our YouTube channel, which you can find by searching Spiritual Cocaine on YouTube. Find out more about our guests in depth on our website, spiritualcocaine.com, along with many other gifted practitioners. And as always, give us a follow on Instagram, where you will definitely find our juiciest content. Our Instagram address is @spiritualcocaine_. Bye for now.